Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Thursday, April the 28th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am here to talk about the DFS and Prize Picks plays for this awesome NBA three-game playoff slate for this evening. We have an incredibly unique situation here. I can't remember seeing one that fell just like this. But all three series are 3-2, and all three series have the home team trying to tie it up at 3-3. On top of that, we have Vegas almost having the same totals for these three games, and all three are under 3.5 point spreads. So you talk about an even playing field for our DFS builds and our Prize Picks plays. You got to love it. I mean, this is going to be who's got the best of the best. So can't wait to break this down with you and take a look at it. We're going to look at some statistics. We're going to look at some recency. We're going to just talk through some matchups and figure out where we want to focus our build for DFS and what Prize Pick plays jump out at us. If you notice today, I very rarely do it, but I had to crack out the vintage Dallas Mavericks hat. For the listeners that are newer and don't know my history, I went to the very first Dallas. I guess I'm extremely old. I went to the very first Dallas Mavericks game ever played in Reunion Arena with my dad back when I was a teenager. So I still have the shirt that I bought there, the vintage Mavericks shirt. And my dad was a basketball fanatic, and he was a coach. Followed right in his footsteps, just like my son Dawson is following in mine. It's amazing. The apple does not fall far from the tree, but lost my dad a while back. So I get fired up for him as well when the Mavericks playoffs come around, because he was a big fan also. So I had to crack out the hat, still have the DFS shirt on. And just so you know, as much as I love the Mavs, I am completely impartial as far as when I'm picking my DFS and Prize Picks plays. Yes, I do play Luka a decent amount, but who doesn't, you know? So anyway, really excited about this slate tonight. It is going to be a blast. All right, before we get started, real quickly, take a second here. We put this podcast in front of the paywall 7 days a week. So all we ask if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, take a second, subscribe, and then click that little alarm up in the corner that will tell you when any of our podcasts post. We're posting 7 days a week, both for DFS and Prize Picks together for baseball, basketball, and we're also providing weekly for PGA. So very excited for that. If you want to come and join us, go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for as little as a 3-day pass for $10. If you want to DM me directly on Twitter, I'm at Joe Sarvati, JoeSarvadi. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want a free trial. Shoot me a message. Maybe we'll pop you in there for a 3-day freebie. Also, if you want to check any of us out on Twitter, we're all at DFS Coach Talk, and our Major League Baseball guy, Mr. Josh Crash Davis, is at JP Davis 1982. All right, here we go. This is a really fun slate. First game is 7 o'clock. It is the Philadelphia 76ers at the Toronto Raptors. Philadelphia is favored by 1.5, and it's a 210.5 total. 106 implied for Philly, 104.5 implied for the Toronto Raptors. As far as on the injury front, we have Charles Bassey questionable, not that that matters, but the one that does matter is Matisse Thybulle is out, so that extra defense and that rotation player is not in the mix. For Toronto, Gary Trent is the questionable one here. And that's very important because it looks like Fred VanVleet is going to be out. He's doubtful. So in my initial projections here, I have him as out. Right now, I have Trent as in, but he's a legit questionable. So we have to follow that that is really the only pieces of news that we need. I think Van Vliet will sit if he's not already been completely ruled out. So really, Trent's the only piece of information that I think is newsworthy on this 3-gamer. Everything else is in place. So we will be in Discord throughout the day to update that for you for sure. All right, as far as a statistical look real quickly at this, and again, these statistics are for the full regular season and playoffs combined. Just gives you an idea because, we're looking at which games do we want to focus on to stack, or which games do we want to fade. I will say again, and I'll, go through the numbers with all of these, but the spreads are all tiny and the totals are all almost the same. So it really is, you can spread out and make some really good decisions here. But in pace, these two teams play extremely slow. On the season and through the playoffs, they're 26th and 25th in pace. So that is a strike against them. Plus, their defenses are both above average. Philadelphia 12th and Toronto 11th. So that does not bode well, for them in that situation. Let's look at this last game where Toronto was able to win 103-88 and force a game 6. From the Toronto side, we had a bunch of guys get up shots between 10 and 17 shots, which they are really sharing the ball. So you got Anunoby, Siakam, Trent, Barnes, and Achua all getting between 10 and 17 shots. So the ball was spread around, moved around, and you had big minutes from Anunoby, 39, Siakam, 43, almost 44, which we expected. Trent, 38, but he's questionable. Scottie Barnes playing on one leg with that really bum ankle. And by the way, congratulations to Scottie Barnes, named the Rookie of the Year, beat out Evan Mobley from Cleveland. It was that was going to be a close one, and Scottie Barnes deservedly got it. He is a shutdown defender, and he can score it. And he gutted it out, man. He played 40 minutes and 43 seconds. So I assume he's a full go. We had a nice contribution from Achua in almost 27 minutes. After that, Boucher 18 and Thad Young 16. That was the gist of the way things are going there. So, is there anybody we can dive all over? They're spreading it around. Siakam certainly is going to get the most shots up. If Trent sits, then all of a sudden Anunoby, Siakam, and Barnes become even more, tempting to roster in there and stack up, because Van Vliet's usage and his shots got spread around. If we have to lose Trent as well, remember, you're going to get a lot of Pascal Siakam playing that pseudo point guard. And, then it brings somebody else into play. Maybe a Malachi Flynn jumps into that rotation. So that Trent news is very important, and we'll be following it very closely. For the Sixers, it was just a really rough game. One they were not expected to lose at home. They were supposed to close out this series. And you had, your usual suspects getting big minutes, but not being as effective. We had Tobias Harris, 44 minutes, was 6 for 16. Embiid played 40 minutes and was 7 for 15. So, just a decent game, but at his price, he didn't get there. Tyrese Maxey was only 5 for 14. James Harden, who did not look great, and I played him, so he did let me down. He got almost 40 minutes, but he was only 4 for 11. He only took 6 foul shots. He did have 7 assists, but only 2 rebounds. So, I know everybody's going bonkers. Harden's washed up, et cetera, et cetera. I'm telling you, it scares me to poke that bear, but I do admit he does not look just himself completely. Whether he slowed down a bit, whether it's Toronto's defense that's bothering him, which could be the case. Maybe he's not, mentally completely focused or gelled with this team. I mean, there was so much that went on, and he hasn't played a ton of games here. So Harden's still, a possibility for me. I cannot write him off, but I do agree that I'm not as confident as I was last time. As far as the bench goes, no Thibault, and he did play 14 minutes. Nobody else off the bench really had any type of minutes impact whatsoever. So trying to close this series out and not wanting it to go to a game 7, I think you're going to see absolute massive minutes from Harris, Embiid, Maxey, and Harden. Those 4 guys, I think, will all be north of 40 minutes. They do not want it to go to a game 7 when anything can happen. Green is going to slide into probably a few more. With Thibault being out, he may be able to push 30, but he did get 10 shots up. I'll give him that, and he hit 4 threes, but extremely scary guy to take. I'd prefer to focus on the other 4. All right, that gives you a little bit of an idea where we're at there. I think it's a good game. I think it's a game that's going to be played big minutes by their main guys, of course, in this closeout scenario. All right, let's go to game 2. Game 2 is at, let's see here. It is at 7:30, so we're going to have to try to watch 2 games at once again. It's only 30 minutes after the other one. And it's the Phoenix Suns at the New Orleans Pelicans. Phoenix is only favored by 2.5. It's a 214 total, 108.25 implied for Phoenix, 105.75 implied for the New Orleans Pelicans. As far as injuries, we know that Booker and Saric are out for Phoenix, and we know that our buddy Cheeseburgers Williamson is out for the Pelicans. So another scenario here where, this was supposed to be a sweep. Everybody was picking a sweep, and here we are. Pels are trying to tie this up at 3 games each in New Orleans. So a bit of panic mode for Phoenix, but they need to step up and get it done here. And that's, they can absolutely do this on the road. But as Vegas is looking at this, it is not a cup of tea. This is going to be a hard-fought game. So let's go back and find the game the last time they played, which was on Sunday. So they do have that extra day rest, which will help, both sides here. And this game was the one that tied it up at, let's see here. Suns in second half, did not series at 2. I am going to find here. I am on the wrong one. I want to go to the game that made it 3-2. So let me see here. I don't want to go off the wrong one and get us messed up. So we're going to find that. Here it is. Okay. It was Tuesday. So this is the game. Phoenix won 112-97 to go up 3-2. So that's the game we're going to look at. That was 2 days. So they didn't get the extra day. That was just 2 days ago. And let's look at New Orleans first. Brandon Ingram played 40 minutes, had a solid game, 22 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He's expensive, but he's going to get monster minutes. Jackson Hayes has been starting, but then not getting big minutes. Something to definitely fade, in my opinion. Only 15 this last game. The big minutes came from these 3 guys. Well, other than Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, he's 32 minutes. And then Herb Jones, 40, and McCollum, 40. And that's going to be your meat and potatoes. Nance got almost 20. He's been getting more minutes at the 4 than Jackson Hayes. And then the peripheral guys, Murphy and Graham and Alvarado. Alvarado would be the only one I'd consider because he just grabbed stock so quickly. He had 2 more steals in this game, and he did get up 8 shots. So the focal point, Ingram, Valanciunas, Jones, and McCollum, you can take a glance at Hayes, Nance, and Alvarado. But as far as getting shots up, CJ was 7 for 22. So not quite where he wants to be. 1 for 8 from 3. He did have 8 rebounds and 5 assists. He's a great play. He is expensive, but he is a terrific play here. Ingram had the second most shots, like I say, at 7 for 19. And then you've got Joe Val was 7 for 11. So very efficient, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. So he's had a very nice series. And, if you can keep him out of foul trouble, he only had 3 the last game. He's certainly a center option here at a price that's better than a couple of the buy-ups. So certainly the regular focal points. If you want to go a little cheaper, Herb Jones gets the big minutes, but again, he had one of those games. Only one field goal in over 40 minutes. He was 1 for 5. So that's not quite going to get it done. He will get you some rebounds and some stocks. He had 2 steals and 2 blocks. So he is a tempting guy, but you need a lot more than one field goal if you're playing 40 minutes. So certainly an option, but not a plug and play by any stretch of the imagination. So the main guys are the main go-tos here on that side of the ball. For Phoenix, it's crunch time, and they're playing their top 5 and rolling with it because there's no Booker. So that really messes up their rotation. They got 47 minutes from Mikal Bridges. I mean, that's nuts. To play all but 1 minute of a ball game in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, you got to like a guy in that scenario. Plus, he got up 17 shots. So he'll be extremely popular. There should be some regression here, I would assume. 12 for 17 from the field, 4 for 4 from 3. I mean, I do love Bridges, and I've played him a lot, but it scares me. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 blocks, and a steal. So, Yahtzee, if you had him last time, still a great play. But I'm not sure at the ownership. We're going to have to follow that closely. Our man Colin and Mike and will be posting that this afternoon as far as ownership. And if he's overpopular, it might be good to pivot. I mean, I do really like him, but let's just see what those numbers show here. Crowder played 22, did not do a whole lot. Expected him to step up a little bit. Ayton's been solid. He's been very tough. 35 minutes, 8 for 13. They still don't get him the ball enough, which is sort of bizarre because he scores it. Good rebounds, nice play there. Cam Johnson, I was on him. He got it done. Only 8 shots. He's a volume shooter, though. I'd like him to have 14, 15 shots, to be honest with you. But he will get some rebounds and assists and a couple of stocks. So Cam in play. Of course, there's Chris Paul. I hung my hat on him. He did go 8 for 18, so we can accept that. 6 rebounds, 11 assists, only 1 turnover, more Chris Paul kind of game. Again, it's a closeout game. It's Chris Paul. This is his best chance to win a championship. He's going to be high up my list. I really think that without Booker, it really does fall in his lap. The guard that got a lot of the Booker minutes off the bench was Landry Shamit. You can consider him. He only had 6 shots that he got up. You only got 11 minutes and 54 seconds from Cam Payne, which is very surprising because they will play him alongside Paul at times. I think you may see those minutes flip. I prefer Cam Payne over Shamit. Payne gets the ball up. He's a scorer. He was 4 for 10 in only that 11 minutes and 54 seconds and definitely gets you some assists. So I think Payne might be a little bit sharper play than Shamit. We were able to go with big difference last night in winning a lot of our NBA plays on all 3, Draftkings, Fanduel, and Yahoo, is that we piled on Kobe White where everybody else sort of dove to Dosunmu, and White smashed him. I think we may have a scenario similar here. I'm not saying Shamit's going to be higher owned than Payne, but if people are looking at that last game and they see him playing over double the minutes, it's going to be close. But I trust Payne a little bit more. But the key is you have some big choices to make. Do you get on the chalk train with Mikal Bridges, Chris Paul, Cam Johnson, or DeAndre Ayton? Or do you try to go cheap and maybe Jay Crowder as a vet? He's been to the finals before. Maybe he can, step up a little bit as well. So another excellent game, lots of options, lots of choices, and really steady game. All right, before we go to the final game real quickly, again, if you want to join us, go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up right there for as little as a 3-day pass for $10. Send me a DM on Twitter at Joe Sarvati. Give me a reason why you want to try us out for free. Let me know what you think, and maybe we'll send you an invite and get you in there. This is the time of year we get hot. We made a huge run the last 2 years in the NBA playoffs. starting at the end of the first round, beginning of the second, which is right now. And then in Major League Baseball at that time, we had 15K takedown, 12K takedown last year at this time. Once we got to May, it was baseball city. Getting through the cold temps in April really was a good punch force. This podcast, by the way, is presented by Prizepicks. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code CoachTalk, all one word, no space. If it's your first deposit with Prizepicks, they will match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100. So if you want to play $30 and that's what you deposit, they match it with 30 and it's put directly into your account. All right, let's go to game 3. And it is a game that I have a little interest in. I am very intense about this game. I love the way the Mavs played in the last one. And now it is closeout. And trying to do it in Utah is no cup of tea. So Utah is actually favored by 1. It's a 209.5 total, 104.5 implied for Dallas, 105 implied for Utah. So as I said, it's just across the board here. All the lines are below 3. None of the implied total. In fact, the implied total spread for all 6 teams. The lowest one is a tie at 104.5 for Dallas and Toronto, but the highest is only 108.25 for Phoenix. Everybody else is in the same boat. So really, statistically, there's no reason to have to even, look statistically beyond that. You just have to take your matchups and play it out. By the way, Phoenix is 9th in pace and New Orleans 21st. It's a little help for the Pels in a pace up, but Phoenix has the 3rd best defense and the Pels are only 20th. So that helps Phoenix. In this game, you've got 2 slow teams. Dallas, the slowest in the league, and at 30th, and Utah 22nd, but both teams good. Top 10 defenses in 6th and 10th. So again, all those statistics, all those numbers, and you know what? They're all pretty close. This is just figure out the matchups, who's going to step up, and you're going to be in pretty darn good shape. All right, let's take a look at the last game. And what I'm going to do, though, because I think it was a little bit jilted because the Mavs absolutely smashed them. So let's see. They played that game let's see where we go here. That was on Monday. They went up 3-2. So I'm going to go to the game before that. Let's get a closer game that we can look at and get a better feel for usage. It was game 4 where Utah tied it up 2-2, and it was 100-99. Let's go back to that game because a much closer game, you get a much better picture. Reggie Bullock, we talked about this last time. We're going to review it. Bullock, 45 minutes. Again, he's not scoring a ton, but he'll hit some big threes, and they need him out there defensively. He's a nice secondary play if you need to round out your lineup. Same thing with Dorian Finney-Smith, 40 minutes, single-digit shots, but going to be there. Dwight Powell really has shown playing much better with Luka on the floor. There's no question they have a good chemistry. The lob play is there, and he becomes an option as well. Really, it's 2 guys. It's Jalen Brunson, who deserves to be mentioned at the top of the list as well. He's getting up tons of shots. He's scoring. He's hitting clutch shots. When Luka's off the floor, he is the man. Brunson is playable without question, but his price is high. Luka's super expensive, but it's Luka. We know he's going to get up incredible shots. He's going to play, old man Larry Bird, all these weird throwback things that I remember watching some of the guys do it back in the 70s. So anyway, it's Luka on the road. I mean, if you're going to buy up, there's certainly a lot worse places you can go than Luka. Triple-double waiting to happen. Do you need him for raw points here? I have him as the highest raw point scorer on this slate. So I think that, you got to go there. I'm going to be looking to start my build with him. In most of my lineups, I'll probably have a GPP without him just in case. but I think he's a terrific play. After Luka, if you don't play Luka, then I'd say that means play Brunson, because he'll probably be the guy that picks up the slack. It's hard to play both of them because of the pricing, a little bit of negative leverage there, but it can be done because they certainly have both gotten to their number several times, combining for like 40 shots too. So, it's very possible. Secondary guys you can consider, again, Dinwiddie, Kleba would be the two guys with Powell, Finney-Smith, and Bullock. That's it, though. I would not go beyond that. That's their rotation, and that's who's going to get the minutes and probably get it done. Now, for Utah, we've got Donovan Mitchell playing. When he first got hurt at the end of that game, it looked like he was done. And then the report came he may play. Now he is playing. So how much can they get out of Donovan? Is it a risk to take him? I mean, if that hamstring goes, then it's over. You can shut your computer and TV off. It's lights out. But if he does get the minutes and he hangs in there, I'm sure they're doing tons of therapy. He's probably going to get over 20 shots. He is the main and really only go-to guy for them. I sort of like Mitchell here, but I'm not sure. I want to read and listen, check out the coach speak, check out the beat writers. Is he really healthy? Is this one of those scenarios where he is going to be restricted? Because they're going to defend the hell out of him. And if he's really on one leg, it's going to be rough for him, because he depends on that athleticism to get by people and over people. So I'm watching that super close. That will be a decision that will probably swing my slate one way or the other, because he is expensive. But I'm leaning towards him. But if I hear any negative chatter whatsoever, I will not go to him. So that's going to be the key factor for me as the day goes on. Bogdanovic has been getting big minutes, and he's going to get up some threes. He was only 1 for 5 this last game, which is unusual. He's in play for me. Gobert, I don't know. 15 rebounds again. He's going to do that against the Mavs. Only 8 shots. There are times they play him off the court. So, a risk. But if he grabs 18 rebounds and actually scores a little bit on some putbacks, he could be a fine play. That's the question. Do you want to go there or elsewhere with that center pick? There are a lot of pivots you can make today with guys that are interesting. After that, it really, Jordan Clarkson's been the next man up. He got 36 minutes in that game. He's hitting shots, and he's playing better than he has all season. So his game has come up in the playoffs, and he can be considered. He's showing it consistently now. Again, low floor at times with Clarkson, but a consistent, high ceiling right now for his price. After that, really not interested in the O'Neals and even Conleys. I hate to say it, he just looks like it's a little late in his career, and it is. And it happens to everybody. Father Time still undefeated. So, I don't know if this sparks Conley into a Fountain of Youth game, but I'm not really interested in going there. So that is it for the matchups. That's all 3 games. I think you're going to see fantastic basketball. I cannot wait. I'm going to be glued to my television. 3 games that could go either way. 3 teams at home trying to tie it up at 3. I mean, that's basketball playoffs at its best. So hopefully this helps you build out some lineups. We'd love to have you join us. Let me click over before we head out now, and let's make a few prize pick selections. I was stalling as long as I could because I wanted to get more of the picks up on the prize picks board and see if anything has been added. Yes, quite a few have been added. And there's a few places I'm looking to go here. Chris Paul right now is at 18.5 points. I like the over. I know I talk about his assists all the time. I do think he scores here. I really do. I don't think he's going to be subbed out that much for Payne. I think Payne gets a little play next to him, like I mentioned. And I think Paul scores over 20 here. This is a closeout game, and he's grew up basically playing basketball professionally in New Orleans. So it's very appropriate that he would step up with that crowd that, has always endeared him and get it done. So he's one guy that I really like. I think a lot of people may go under Donovan Mitchell, 24.5. I'm not going to go there yet. But again, if I really hear that he's not 100% at all, which I don't think he is, then an under 24.5 real points would probably be a very sharp play. No question about it. All right, as far as PRA, points, rebounds, assists, you've got some really pivotal numbers all over the place here. But I'm going to go with one that seems a little odd, but to me, I think it makes sense. And I'm going to go, and I hate to do this, so Dirk, don't listen. I'm going to go under Jalen Brunson, 28.5 PRA. That's a lot for Luka being 100% now, which he looks 100% to me. 28.5, that's not fantasy score. That's PRA. So, I mean, he can have 15, 6, and 5 or whatever, and he's still not there. And that's a good game as a second fiddle to Luka. So I'm going to go under Jalen Brunson, 28.5, even though when I'm watching, I'm going to be rooting for his shots to go in, but I just think it's a smart play. So those are my 2 prize picks gives here. I'll have probably 3 or 4 more. My favorite one of all I'm holding for our members, and I really think it's a smash spot for that one. But, we can't give everything away. I pretty much, give everything as it is as far as my entire insight in the game. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you build some winning DFS rosters, some lineups, some takedowns. I hope it helps you get some big prize picks crushes too. So we can all win with the same picks on prize picks, which is a lot of fun. So thank you so much for listening in. I'll certainly be back again tomorrow, and we'll certainly be looking to crush it again in NBA DFS and prize picks.